Hi guys and welcome. It is Karen here with you today. So today I am going to be working in my very full small Dylusions page, and I'm going to be working with some of Jane Davenport's products. So over to the left there you can see that I have my layer cakes out. So I'm just starting off by smooshing a bunch of colours onto my page. And my page has already been gessoed, and I've also put on some watercolour ground onto it as well, so that when I put my layer cakes on it, they kind of act a little bit more like watercolours. So I've got one layer down there, and now I'm just working on my second one. So I'm kind of smooshing the colours together to create some new colours and hopefully not make too much mud. There's a little bit of mud there, but that's okay. We'll mop that bit up. There we go. That looks better. And when I get that dry, what I've got next is some stencils, and I'm going to use some Stamperia paints. These Stamperia paints are out of a Sleeping Beauty set that I got at my very local craft shop, Bev's Cross Crafts, and I'm using that with a little sponge and some Crafters Workshop stencils. And you've seen the first one there, and this one's my new favourite with the little leaves. So I'm going to put that in with the white, just sponging through. So I'm just using a little bit of paint on my sponge and then tapping it through the stencil. So some of it's hit and some of it's missed, as you can see more with the script. So now I have my Fleur image from my Fleur art image pack, which is available at Michelle Grant Designs. I'll put the link down in the description box for you to my part of the shop. And I've printed it out onto some tissue paper. And I'll also put a link in so that you guys can find out how to print on tissue paper. It's quite easy. So I've got a couple of little bits out of my art pack there. So I've just glued them down with some gel medium, and I've used a liquid gel medium because it's a little bit gentler on the tissue. Now, after I got my tissue dry, you can see I'm just adding in another little layer of layer cakes there, just to help take away the whiteness of the tissue. And you can still see some of the colours and the stenciling and whatnot through the tissue, so it looks really cool. So I've just got a rollerball pen there, and you can see that I've just extended her hair out over to the second page. And now I've got a little bit of gesso which I've watered down, and I'm going to paint that over her face just really lightly, because I still want to be able to see those colours and textures coming through the face. So I've just lightly put a layer of gesso over there so that then I can add on my pastels over the top a lot easier. So my pastels are pan pastels, and again I got them from my very local craft shop, Bev's Cross Crafts, and I'm just using some of the tools to help blend the colours in. So I've got some cheek colour here happening, and it's a little bit too pink, so I'm going to come back in with this skin colour, and kind of blend that out a little bit so that looks a little bit better. So it's kind of a little bit like using makeup. Like, I'm definitely no expert with these pan pastels, but they are loads of fun. The other thing that I'm doing here is just adding a touch of purple around the sides of the face and under the flowers, and that just helps create a bit of a shadow. Some white to add in some highlights again. So now I've got out my Life of Colour pens, and I'm just going to colour in the whites of the eyes here. And then I've got my black rollerball pen, and I'm going to redraw in the nose and the lips because I kind of lost those a little bit with the pastel, but I can still see them under all there, although you probably can't on camera. Just drawing in the face, just reinforcing those lines again. So that looks really cool. So now I've got out some Inktense pencils in some of my favourite colours that I like to do the eyes with. There's a sherbet lemon and a mallard green, but I can't remember what the blue one is. And once I've done that, I'm going to colour in these pupils again because they look a little bit sad, just with a black paint pen. Come back in and do the white so it's nice and bright again. when I get those black parts of the pupils dry, I'll add in my catch lights. So they're in the same spot on the different eyes, so you can't, if you was to put them right in the middle on either side, it looks a little bit weird, or if you were to put them towards the middle, it'll look like she's cross-eyed. So yeah, so I kind of put them in the same spot, so like on the right hand side on the right eye, and then again on the right hand side on the left eye. So now that I've got the eyes done, I'm going around them with my rollerball pen and redoing the eyelashes just with a flick motion, just with that rollerball pen. It didn't, it was getting a little bit sad with the pastels, but mostly it just writes over the top of it. It's usually not an issue. So the next thing that I've got out is my Jane Davenport mermaid markers, which I've had for ages, and I decided that they would be cool to colour in the flowers on Fleur's head here, but I decided that it would be easier to wet the paper first and then add the colour in over the top. It spreads out a little bit easier than how I was doing it first, by adding the colour first and then spreading it with the water. So yeah, easier to wet it first. So I'm just mixing up a little bit of green here so I can paint the leaves just around the outside here. So that's looking pretty cool. Yep, I'm liking how we're going so far. So I'm going to get that bit there dry. And then I've got a Stabilo All pencil. So I'm going to start making some shadows here where her hair is. So yeah, just to make it a little bit more defined. So she's jumping out from the background a little bit more. So there you can see where hair's going there. And I was thinking that maybe I mightn't have to go over her hair, but it kind of looked a little bit weird at this stage, so I'm thinking, yeah, I need to add some more colour to her hair. But I will do my white scribble pen around these magnolia flowers first, so they pop out from the page, so they look really cool. Yeah, so I decided to go with blue, and I'm using again a mermaid marker from Jane Davenport, and I was hoping trying not to add too much water to it so it went everywhere, so I could still see some of the colour underneath, but it ended up a little bit too bright. So I'm going to grab a paper towel here and just wipe it back a little bit so you can still see some of the stenciling and some of the other colours that are coming up through underneath. Just going again with that Stabilo pencil just to help define those edges just a little bit more. There we go, that looks better. So I'm going to get that nice and dry, and then I reckon, yes, I'm going to grab my black rollerball pen again, and I'm going to go around these leaves just to help pop them out because they kind of look a little bit lost in there. So I'm just going to go around them again just with the black pen just to reinforce those black lines again. There we go. Do the center of my flowers just with a few squiggles, and she's looking pretty cool so far. So now I've got out a it's a needle tip bottle, and it's got some gold paint in it, and I've mixed my gold paint in with some fluid medium, so it's quite runny, so it's almost like a pen with paint in it. Yeah, I've also just splattered on some white Liquitex ink, acrylic ink there into the background, and popping up my quote which says, "Kindness is the only beauty that never fades." So there you go. So she looks really cool. So you can see her hair is almost like a, like a nebula up in space somewhere. So it looks really cool. I'm really happy with it. So I hope you have enjoyed my video today. I hope I have inspired you to get creative and maybe check out my Fleur pack. Yeah, and until next time, have a great week and keep on creating, and please like and subscribe. Okay, bye.